Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Take. I'm your host, as always, Kendrick Dixie. Glad you can join us here on the Take. On the special Take, we're going to be talking about the New York Knicks, who won the NBA championship. You see on the background right here, the New York Knicks are officially NBA champions. And you know they had a hip hop parade for the Knicks. I can tell you this right here: the New York Knicks won the NBA championship this past week. I'm a big San Antonio fan, but this is the atmosphere you see after the New York Knicks won after Game 5 of the NBA Finals. New York Knicks only a 52-year drought, and now NBA champ. Go New York, go! Go New York, go! New York, go! And these are the fans who are more elated, happy, excited that their New York Knicks are now NBA World Champions. Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, Karl-Anthony Towns, the whole list of OG, Anunoby, Mikal Bridges finally won it for the team, and now they're the champions and stuff. Let's show you a little clip right here.
Aaron Fox back in. Fox steps back, tries a three-pointer. It's good!
To keep getting either free throws to stop the clock, or you're going to have to knock down some threes.
Fox gets in there, adjusts beautifully and banks it home. Drives on Towns, leans in. Towns plays him well. Spins, layup, he banks it home! Fourth block for Wemby.
Got numbers.
Vassell, three-pointer. It's good! Harper in the paint. Ties the game!
That was when they was trying to when they finally got into the San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio Spurs are a young team. No question. This New York Knicks championship is a Cinderella story. But like I say, it ain't gonna last long. This just them winning for this year. But next year, the San Antonio Spurs will be ready, and there's gonna be more youth. It's gonna be the youth, the energy, the attitude, the momentum. San Antonio Spurs will get back to that. They just had a bitch of hits and misses. They had the hits. They thought it was coming back, and then they just had misses. They just couldn't recover from that with New York's offense and stuff like that, and some of their defense. But San Antonio did start out with winning, but things just get out of hand when it comes to the third and fourth quarter. But they will come back even stronger. Believe me, trust and believe. They'll be back. But New York better enjoy this moment right here. This is the moment once New York headlines right here on the skyline. Championship. Everybody was even the line were the whole boroughs was happy and stuff. There's still a New York parade right now as we speak, so we'll probably have that for the next New York Knicks fans and stuff. Well, like we said, New York Knicks fans were happy and elated. They was all over the media. Here's them appearing on one of them appeared on Good Morning America. Here's the New York Knicks on their win on GMA.
To see great New York teams have that moment, and for it to finally be our time. It's one of those things you always dream of as a kid, especially growing up in the area. You never know if you're even going to be able to attend the parade and get close enough to see the greats, but to be the ones actually doing the path and following behind some amazing legends before us in New York history, I think it's going to be something really, really special.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to contribute?
I just want to bring my dog on the float. That's what I'm talking about. It's real.
Hey, family affair, man. Yeah. Well, I got to say, congratulations to all of you. It was so fun. It's so much fun to watch.
Those New York Knicks talking about their winning over the San Antonio Spurs of a 53-year drought. Here's more from GMA.
Anyone here old enough to remember 69 and 73, which were terrific. Mikal, tell us about you, Josh, and Jalen all working together at Villanova. Could you have ever imagined you'd be together again for the NBA championship?
No, not really. It's just crazy how we all, being on the same team again. It's crazy, even talking about this now and being here today. We're very grateful, to win a championship in college. But to be on the same team and, win a championship for the city, being together is just it's an amazing feeling.
I love seeing those little baby shots of y'all at Villanova. Did that help, though, with the chemistry? The fact that y'all three had played together before?
Yeah, I think it's just second nature. It's like everybody always asks, what's the chemistry like? I think it's just, this is two guys in the starting lineup that I don't have to think, playing when we're out there. It's just so second nature. Being out there so many times in college, so many reps, so many practices. So it just makes it a little bit easier when you got two guys out there, you just know how they're going to play and you know how to read and react off each other.
Yeah, and I think that's why you guys over here laughing at each other every time you make a comment, because you got it.
All right, you saw Mikal Bridges talked about his past with fellow teammates Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson when they was playing for Villanova nearly a decade ago, and a decade later, they are NBA champions. So I think all of them knowing each other, their secrecies, their habits and stuff like that played a part of them. Here's more GMA when OG Monova, who really played a difference in the game, really helped. Here's what the host of the GMA had asked OG about making that last shot for the layup.
And OG, let's get to you, man. Come on, just smile one time for me. There we go. Yeah.
There it is.
Hey, give us that meme, OG. Give us that meme. That's what I'm talking about. You know what you
Oh, he's looking at you. Oh, you're getting that look now.
Well, you know what? You had the game-winning tip in, right? In Game 4. Coach Brown called it the most iconic shot in the history of New York basketball, and I think we all can agree that it really was, man. But had the enormity of what that shot sunk in for you yet?
I mean, kind of, yeah, just because we won. Because in the moment, had to get ready for Game 5, so couldn't really, dwell on it or be excited about it. Just had to prepare and, watch the film and just, erase that game and move on. So a little bit, yes.
When it's happening, is anything going through your mind when you're up in the air like that, or is it all instinct?
I mean, I was trying to dunk it. I was trying to dunk it, but couldn't dunk it, so I just try to, just touch it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, try to make the shot. Trying to make the shot.
That's it.
Yeah.
You can't see the fellas behind you right now, but they're having a good time.
Well, like I said, that was a big story to talk about here on the big story. We forgot the big story graphic. So put the big story graphic in. That was our big story. Let's move over to talk shows to continue our New York Knicks. So, all right, continue on with talk shows with New York Knicks. The Knicks even appeared. New York Knicks went big. They went big, all right. They appeared on the Tonight Show. Here's Jalen Brunson sitting down with Jimmy Fallon. Take a look.
Jalen, you scored 45 points in a championship-winning game. But Michael, can't talk. All right, can't talk. Michael Jordan is the only other player in history to do that. What does it feel like when you go down the street or you see this billboard in New York City of Clyde Frazier passing the ball to Jalen Brunson? Is that cool?
That's crazy.
That's pretty cool, right?
That's really cool. I mean, being able to know him and talk to him over the last couple of years, you just see the joy he has watching us, and just very thankful for the relationship we have. He means a lot to this community, the Knicks community, and us, and just he's a pleasure to be around.
Yeah, he's always there for you guys.
Yeah.
And we talked before when you were on the show, before the game, you told me you listen to Justin Bieber. And I was wondering if that's still the case. And during the playoffs, do you switch out the playlist, or is it still Bieber?
Before the games, I switch it up every now and then, but like right after Mike does his pregame talk, has to be Bieber right before I run out.
I love that. You're loyal.
I can verify this thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Gotta get it. Exactly.
Oh yeah, I can verify it.
Oh yeah, he verified all right. What's going on? Even Josh Hart had something to say. Let's hear what Josh Hart.
I brought the shoe that I wore to that game, and I had the team sign it, but they left a place for you to sign it. I brought the shoe that I wore to that game, and I had the team sign it, but they left a place for you to sign it. I'd be honored if you're the last Knick to sign my shoe, and then maybe we could retire this to the rafters.
100%.
Here at 30 Rock.
Yeah, I'll go here. I'll go here.
Yeah.
Yeah, champ.
Yeah, right. Come on, champ. Want to go retire it with me? Yeah, let's go retire the shoe. Come on over here. Here we go. Very, very excited about this. This will live in the rafters forever. Here you go. Thanks, Josh. You do the honors.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh. Here we go. Wow. Fantastic. Bring it up. Bring it up. There it is. No, don't do it again. Oh my gosh. He did it again. He did it again. I did it again. Come on. You're the best.
I love you, bro.
But like I said, New York Knicks continue on with the momentum and stuff. So even Jordan Woods got on the fun. She
The bag obviously got some more, and
she believes that her husband Karl-Anthony
we've been very
Towns.
fortunate that the bag has come with us on this championship run.
You saw that little brief clip. So New York's kind of on a roll, and New York Knicks fans are elated. So congratulations to the New York Knicks. Unfortunate, but next year is going to be a totally different story. I'll tell you that right now. So they better enjoy their Cinderella fairy tale while they can. But next year is going to be a totally different. All right. We move over quickly to, before we leave off the pro wrestling, before we leave the tape, the political rundown. All right, on the political rundown this week, you know who trying to do like the scray of her moves. He even wrote this little message on Truth Social. Take a look at this. I'm gonna show you that right quick. I'm gonna leave out. I'm gonna show you that. But, wrote this little post about in the Scramble News with a U.S. peace deal. So, there you go. Now they're saying that he wants to spend $300 billion to help rebuild Iran that he started. And a lot of people saying that he could have took that money and went elsewhere with that, but it just shows you how his priorities is. That's why I just cannot wait till he get out of office so bad. So anyway, speaking of that, now they're saying like the next president of the
In
United
recent
States
days,
could be
federal
this man
agents
right
have knocked
here,
on the doors of family,
Gavin
friends, and
Newsom, if
former
he decides
employees.
to run.
Not because they found a crime, because they're simply trying to find one. They're demanding records. They're abusing the grand jury process, digging through years and years of random documents. Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president, because he hates that I've consistently called him out over and over again for his lies and deceit. Donald Trump is simply the most corrupt president in American history. He's turned the levers of government into his own personal power ministries to reward cronies and to try to jail his opponents. His personal attorney now.
Gavin Newsom saying that Donald Trump and his administration are trying to come after him. Never know with him, but I wouldn't be surprised nor shocked. But speaking of that, Trump had sent J.D. Vance over to the some damage control, but the ladies told him up. Let's look at what the ladies had said to the president. Was close to run for president.
What can you say to voters who trusted you to lower costs on day one, and will they be satisfied by November?
Well, I think that's ultimately up to the voters, right? I think voters have every right to expect as much as possible out of their elected representatives. We certainly know that we were elected on a number of mandates. One was to close the border, which I think...
Anyone here old enough to remember 69 and 73, which were terrific. Mikal, tell us about you, Josh, and Jalen all working together at Villanova. Could you have ever imagined you'd be together again for the NBA championship?
No, not really. It's just crazy how we all, being on the same team again. It's crazy, even talking about this now and being here today.
What can you say to voters who trusted you to lower costs on day one, and will they be satisfied by November?
Well, I think that's ultimately up to the voters, right? I think voters have every right to expect as much as possible out of their elected representatives. We certainly know that we were elected on a number of mandates. One was to close the border, which I think we've done successfully, exceeded expectations there. Number two was to lower prices, and there's a lot of work to do, in large part because of what's happened over the last few months in the Middle East. But as you said, oil, which got up to $120 a barrel, now is at $80 a barrel. That's going to be reflected in lower fuel, lower food, lower energy prices. But there's a lot more work to do. The thing that I'm proudest about most, because as some of you may know, I grew up in one of these towns that was forgotten by the leaders in Washington of both parties, is that you're seeing, that's Middletown, Ohio. That's my hometown in southwestern Ohio. It was a proud steel town. I was raised by a grandfather who was a union steel worker, is that those jobs disappeared. Those factories closed down. The thing that I'm most excited about is you do see a large amount of capital investment coming into our country. Factories being built, construction jobs are way up, manufacturing jobs are starting to catch up. So there's a lot more work to do. I think that we're making progress, but ultimately we're going to make our pitch to the voters in November, and they're the ones who get to decide whether we've done a good job or not, and that's how they're going to vote.
Anyone. But listen, over 50 people have died in ICE custody. There are thousands of children, 6,200, that are being held in places like Dilley Detention Center. The people that have visited those detention centers, I don't know if you have, talk about the subhuman, infrahuman conditions, the lack of clean water, the lack of medical attention, the lack of education. I would urge you as a Christian and as a father to visit those detention centers where the children are being held and make sure that the conditions are up to the values that we hold in this country.
We do have to strike a balance, of course, between enforcing our laws. We don't want to dehumanize people. That is the balance that, look, law enforcement, what I'd say about this, law enforcement is always inherently not a very pretty process, especially when you're dealing sometimes with violent people, with people who are resisting arrest. Some of the people that I've been told by the media were completely peaceful, had never violated any laws. You actually look into the record and you find out that those people were actually being violent, or they did have a criminal record. They had a sex trafficking conviction.
Don't have criminal records. The majority of people that ICE is rounding up and taking out of their homes from their families, they're separating families. They're using children as bait.
But
the majority are not criminal.
But can I respond to that, guys? Let me just say this. Okay. So you talk about the children. Here's what I'd say. Do we know that during the last administration, we had tens of thousands of children who were sex trafficked by the cartels, who were brought into our country in profoundly dangerous and predatory conditions?
Let's talk about this administration.
But here's the point. Unless you enforce the border, you invite that kind of conduct. You think that our immigration policies are inhumane based on the reporting of one person with a political bias. What I'm telling you is that it's inhumane to allow cartels to sex traffic people across our border.
All right. You saw right there, we had a little technical issues. We're sorry about that. We was trying to get JD Vance's take on the view, and he did. Here's another take.
In a lot of the museums there's so many. You know, where they're taking down the actual history that happened in this country. Slavery happened. All kinds of stuff happened. And it seems that it has been very easy for this administration to remove that and also to denigrate black folks who have worked their behinds off to get this American dream. How do you, I mean, you know better.
I think, okay, look at Washington, D.C. One of the most democratic and one of the blackest, by a share of population, blackest cities in the United States of America, has seen a radical decrease in violent crimes and sexual assaults and in murders. We have tried to take the crime issue seriously, in part because we believe everybody, whether you're black or white or rich or poor, deserves to live in a safe neighborhood.
Why does the crime? Where does the crime step in? This is not about crime. This is about
women lost their jobs.
Right. This is about human
Sonny,
rights.
What you're saying is we got to do more on the economy.
Black history has been erased from public spaces.
Black history is not erased from public spaces.
We do have to get to Iran.
Well, JD Vance trying to tout that the Trump administration are not messing with black history, but they kind of are with not trying to spend money on the national black, even gerrymandering maps that's represent black districts. They kind of are, but they don't want to admit it. So you know how that goes.
What can you say to voters who trusted you to lower costs on day one, and will they be satisfied by November?
Well, I think that's ultimately up to the voters, right? I think voters have every right to expect as much as possible out of their elected representatives. We certainly know that we were elected on a number of mandates. One was to close the border, which I think we've done successfully, exceeded expectations there. Number two was to lower prices, and there's a lot of work to do, in large part because of what's happened over the last few months in the Middle East. But as you said, oil, which got up to $120 a barrel, now is at $80 a barrel. That's going to be reflected in lower fuel, lower food, lower energy prices. But there's a lot more work to do. The thing that I'm proudest about most, because as some of you may know, I grew up in one of these towns that was forgotten by the leaders in Washington of both parties, is that you're seeing, that's Middletown, Ohio. That's my hometown in southwestern Ohio. It was a proud steel town. I was raised by a grandfather who was a union steel worker, is that those jobs disappeared. Those factories closed down. The thing that I'm most excited about is you do see a large amount of capital investment coming into our country. Factories being built, construction jobs are way up, manufacturing jobs are starting to catch up. So there's a lot more work to do. I think that we're making progress, but ultimately we're going to make our pitch to the voters in November, and they're the ones who get to decide whether we've done a good job or not, and that's how they're going to vote.
All right, you saw right there, JD Vance. I got one more before we leave out.
For a long time, and the roots are in slavery. Black women have been slurred and made to feel that they were unattractive, made to feel that they were masculine, made to feel that they didn't have the femininity that a white woman would have. And so there's this intersectionality between racism and sexism that was on full display at the White House. The crowd laughed at the statement, and the President of the United States smirked and never addressed what was said. That is beneath the dignity of the office of the President of the United States, and it's beneath the dignity of the American people.
Sonny, you are right. Black women have been disrespected all their life. Black women are the most beautiful creatures of this planet, on this earth. None against white women. Some pretty white women. I think I mainly prefer black women than white women, but it is what it is. You have your preference, but you treat a person as a person. You just that. But what happened with that fighter? You can watch it back on Viral. It's gaining some traction on Viral. The numbers and stuff about Michelle Obama is a man. It kind of reminds you of Austin Powers, but Michelle Obama is not a man. Michelle Obama gave birth to two girls that turned out to be beautiful women themselves in their own right. So just debunk that conspiracy theory that what that UFC fighter Josh Hart was trying to say. He was just said that just to be propped up by somebody, Joe Rogan or somebody in that Trump camp, to say that, just to debunk that stuff like that ain't cool, and the president of the United States ain't gonna say nothing about it. That's gonna be his fault down the road, but he'll get what's coming to him down the road. Also, too, we go to this on Newsies this week. Well, it looks like Taylor Swift will be providing vocals on the soundtrack of Toy Story. You see right here, Taylor Swift did a countdown for Toy Story. She'll be part of the Toy Story 5 movie, so she's gonna lend her voice. You can tell right here the Toy Story stuff. Taylor Swift putting her eyes on everything. She was in the NBA Finals. Now she's gonna be part of the Toy Story soundtrack. And now the Toy Story theme gonna be that they're gonna be taking on technology, like the little VTEX and stuff like that. They've been out there since Toy Story. Now they want to gonna be more about Jesse's story. So you'll see coming up Toy Story as well. Yeah, you saw right there. That was funny. The device, but you can tell right here the Toy Story, right here Taylor Swift and her vocals right here. So Toy Story TS, like we already know this song. I knew it. I knew you. Taylor Swift in theaters June 19th. So Toy Story will be coming out tomorrow. Toy Story 5. We saw that. Seeing as that go. And before we end, let's go to the viral video of the week. All right, the viral. Go back to the viral video of the week. Week is really viral. Let's see what this robot does to this kid. This kid in China. We expect this from this robot. Take a look. You saw that. Kid took a gut punch shot, but he made it okay. All right. Thank you all for watching this edition of The Take. I've been your host, Kendra Dixon. So long. We'll see you next time for another edition of The Take.